Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hero Movie Podcast, your greatest source for superhero movie and television discussion in the multiverse. I'm your host, Adam Fortress, and joining me today, look out, it's zombie Sweet Chauncey from the internet.
What if Sweet Chauncey wasn't so sweet?
And no one's ever accused him of being funny, Bruce Leslie.
I'm a prickly pear, and Hank Pym is an arse.
Indeed. This song is called What If by the band What If. That's what you'll find when you look through the internet. When you just type in What If.
Is that from the last couple of years?
Yeah, exactly. it's as 1998 as you can get. No, it was. I look for weird stuff sometimes, and sometimes you come across some solid gold. But I always love it when a band has a song that is, like Bad Company playing Bad Company. You're like, what? What is this crap for real now?
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like the music in like an 80s like teen movie where like guys in a band, but they don't have the real band, so they got to come up with some movie band. And like that's the kind of music that they would play. I always think of Demi Moore in One Crazy Summer whenever I think of that.
Oh, yeah. Did you ever see the Justine Bateman classic Satisfaction?
Am I a red-blooded American male? Then yes, I have.
Same idea. Or Light of Day was another one like that.
Yes.
But we hope you have seen the light of day when you open up your Disney Plus app and see the next couple episodes of Marvel's What If.
Still the king, baby. Still the king.
It is. Man, I've been putting these off just because it's a long story that no one needs to hear about, but I haven't been able to watch these things in not too long, and finally got to watch all of them. Really super excited to kind of talk about some of those because I got some thoughts about things. I think things have changed for me a little bit since we first talked about the first two episodes. But before we do that, we do want to say a big thank you to the people that support us over at patreon.com/HMP. Doesn't matter what level you support us at. You get pre-show, post-show, Dinger Zone, and of course, you get to vote on a movie that we watch every single month, or TV show in this particular case, because we've got a lot. So let's bring it up here. Here is the options for you this month. These will all be available to vote on as this is posted. So patreon.com/HMP. Here are your choices. We have we're bringing back Lois and Clark. We had a lot of people that voted on that last time, so we're bringing that one back in. Couple episodes of the Spider-Man TV show from the 90s, little animated stuff. Rendell Dark Vengeance as a 2017 movie from, is it Sweden?
Finland.
They're all pretty much the same,
Hey, don't you dare downplay the greatness of Rendell. So it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, Rendell looks like a combination of like Snake Eyes and Spawn with no cape.
And Batman.
And Dark Noir.
It's Finnish Batman, for God's sake.
So if you are on some Finnish Batman. We'll also, another option for you is Attack on Titan. We're going to do the first 5 episodes of that. And the Eternal All-Star here, the pilot of Winona Earp. Because, Bruce. So, all of those will be up on...
Are you clapping, Bruce?
I'm pretty sure it was an effect that Adam was playing.
I do not believe that it was, dear sir.
That was literally the funniest thing you've ever done, Bruce. That was very funny.
I'm clapping.
You killed
it
with the wham, 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 but that part with the very small clapping in the background, very funny.
You should have followed up with a woo! Like what? Ow! Hey, listen, I'm just giving the people what they want. You heard it. You heard it there. It's like there's no live feedback in this. It's just the three of us. Doing this long enough, we know how it works. So if you'd like to vote on what we get to watch next week, and of course pre-show, post-show, Dinger Zone, all that kind of good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/HMP and join up today, man. However much you think this show's worth, put that in a dollar form, send it our way, and get more stuff in the meantime. Couldn't hurt you there. Well, let's get into it. Here is the trailer for Marvel's What If.
Yeah, peace. I love peace. I'd be out of a job with peace.
Do we know each other? Reality. It's changeable.
I am the Watcher. I observe all that transpires here, but I do not, cannot, will not interfere.
Alrighty, everybody, that was the trailer for Marvel's What If. You know what time it is.
It's time for Bruce's Comic Book Connection.
Bruce, what do you got for us this time?
Marvel Zombies began as a 5-issue limited series in December 2005, and it was written by Robert Kirkman, who had made himself the king of zombie comics roughly 2 years prior when he unleashed The Walking Dead on an unsuspecting public. And when I say unsuspecting, I totally mean it. I think the first printing of the first issue only amounted to 1,500 copies. And let's just say the demand far outstripped the supply. Comic book fans suddenly had zombie fever, which is ironic because in The Walking Dead, people get a fever before they turn into zombies. And Marvel didn't just want to capitalize on the new zombie craze. They wanted to get the man himself at the helm. So they hired the simple guy from Kentucky to bring it to life, or to an undead state, I guess you could say. Kirkman also thought this was the perfect series for him, as he didn't want to be pigeonholed as either a superhero guy or a zombie guy, and this property clearly had a foot in both playing fields. Now, technically, zombies first entered the Marvel multiverse in Mark Millar's Ultimate Fantastic Four, but Kirkman wrote Marvel Zombies in a way that functions entirely independently of Millar's work and doesn't require the reader to have read the Ultimate Fantastic Four series. This story takes place on Earth 2149, an Earth in which the hunger drives the Earth 91126 version of Sentry, who was turned into a zombie by Giant Man from Earth 2149 before being sent through time and space by a Watcher to infect Earth 2149. So it's all a big bootstrap paradox.
Tale as old as time.
But Kirkman decided that the Marvel characters, either heroes or villains, would retain their usual personalities and powers, only driven to devour flesh by their uncontrollable hunger, with the miniseries depicting how they deal with their hunger and how they interact with each other. Now, when you have superpowered zombies, regular old humans are no match, and all the regular humans are gobbled up, leaving only a bunch of super hungry super zombies wandering the planet. But the turns are tabled when the Silver Surfer arrives on Earth and informs the zombies that his master Galactus is en route to devour the planet. Now, unfortunately for Joe Satriani fans, the Silver Surfer is overpowered and devoured by several of the former superheroes. This gives them portions of the power cosmic that makes them super zombies who easily slaughter all the plain old super zombies. But in a huge twist, Black Panther was still alive and not a zombie. When Galactus arrives, he's attacked by zombies, and in the early stages of the fight, it looks like Galactus is going to win, but eventually the Devourer of Planets gets devoured by a planet of zombies. Next thing you know, we've got a bunch of zombie Galactuses going around the universe and feasting on the flesh of aliens. And that's all there is to the story. Adam, give us a list.
Yes, if that was not enough for you, let me sell you on Marvel's What If episodes 3 through 6, because this show's got everything. We've got a whole what if the movies you saw never existed, a whole multiverse of madness before multiverse of madness, zombies. We've got a ton more celebrity voiceovers with character animations that look nothing like those voices. And, you know, I don't know. Spider-Man, Vanilla Banner, capes everywhere. We've got the tentacle monster being back. And I think Michael B. Jordan is even more handsome in cartoon form. I don't think the world is fair at all.
It's the only thing that he and I have in common.
Oh,
We're
my
both more attractive
gosh.
as cartoons.
It's just like he couldn't. Oh, that's disgusting. Just stop being so handsome, guy. The Watcher talks back and more. This show's got everything.
Yes, it does.
So how many episodes, because we haven't discussed this, how many episodes are we talking about?
We're talking about what if the world lost its mightiest heroes? What if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands? What if Marvel Zombies? And what if Killmonger said, hey, let's do a Killmonger episode?
Killmonger's his own producer and just goes like, you know what? I feel like the world could use a little bit more of me.
What if Killmonger saved Tony?
Huh? What about then? So I don't know the what if the world lost its mightiest heroes. Does this not feel like this could have been, maybe should have been the first one to give people that might be new to the like what if idea? I feel like this may have been a better introductory episode for those people.
I think that one, it's so, it's good. It's a good episode. It's just so, it's such exactly what you think this series is going to be, that putting it up top is kind of it almost feels fan servicey, quite honestly.
I feel like you need to be just a little invested in the show before they get to what if the world lost its mightiest heroes, because what if Peggy Carter got the super serum instead of Steve Rogers? That is a more traditional classic what if setup. And then the Black Panther one was a real crowd pleaser. So I think it makes sense to put those first two in. If I watched this one first, I'd be like, well, they totally don't understand what if was, because it wasn't usually quite this kind of thing. But I'd already bought into the series by the time I got to this one.
Right.
Totally agree.
I think that's ultimately it's the better place. My thought only really goes to just the selling of the concept to people that have never seen it before. But I think you may be right. If this was the first one, again, would you have been super hyped for, whatever they would do second and third? I don't know. I feel like you might come across with that idea of like, okay, well, I saw what they did before. It's kind of like they recreate some of the stuff from the movies, but then they deviate a little bit. So,
This one made me realize that I like the smaller ones more.
Yeah.
The ones that are more macro or micro instead of macro.
My idea of what if is essentially what if this character turned right instead of left at this point. So I really like the Peggy Carter one. I really like the Doctor Strange one. I like the T'Challa one, but I don't like it because it's a good what if. I just like it because it's a good story. Chad Boseman. It's emotional. It's hard to judge that one fairly. I don't like the zombies or if the world lost its mightiest heroes so much, because neither one of those feel like a real what if story. Those just feel like an Elseworld story, which maybe it's potato, but it's just not working for me the way that some of the, like you said, Sean, the smaller stories.
Yeah.
One thing that I'm really thinking, because we know that we're going to see Kang in the next Ant-Man movie. And we know that the next Ant-Man movie, along with the Multiverse of Madness, those two are going to be real, Quadromania and Multiverse of Madness. Those are going to be real integral into telling us where this next phase is going and what to expect. And we've got two of the grand scale what if stories that kind of make Hank Pym the villain for family reasons. And I think they're really setting us up for some kind of Hank Pym caused problems in the next phase. Because I've read again and again that they're kind of softening us up for what to expect. Like we've seen the tentacle beasts in two of these episodes, and then it was in Shang-Chi. And then we're seeing Hank Pym kind of going crazy finally in two of these episodes, or if not going crazy, at least being responsible for some badness in two of these.
All you got to do is just put a woman in front of him and the world will just work itself out.
And Michael Douglas Michael Douglas.
He's just going to do what he does, and Hank Pym going to have a time. And we're just going to be like, we all knew this was coming.
They're also both trying to really make us think Wasp is a cool character, which, I don't think Hope Van Dyne was ever as cool as her mother.
I think it's fine. Like I enjoyed a lot of, Evil Hank and everything. I thought the animation for him was actually really good. And it is Michael Douglas doing the voice, I would imagine, because there's some of these are pretty darn close. Because I've stopped watching the opens. I'm going to talk about that. I stopped watching the little thing where the Watcher does his dialogue and all that stuff because they put all the names up, and I don't like seeing all the names and getting spoiled on who's in the episode. I like getting excited. We did
have the Kurt Russell spoiler in that T'Challa one.
Yeah, it was really. I was just like, so after that, I was like, I'm skipping these intros because I don't want to see. But like, if not, that's a really good Michael Douglas.
I'm skipping the intros because I just have a tight schedule these days.
You get that 45 seconds out of my face right now.
Seriously, it's gotten to that point lately.
I got better things to do.
Man, it's so crazy. Like when she decided she was done, because Scarlett Johansson isn't the voice of Black Widow.
Yeah.
In this episode, it's Lake Bell, and so it like, man, when you're done, you are done. Like, there is no, like, I don't know if that's Disney calling the shots there, or if it's ScarJo.
When a bridge is burned, both sides of the river feel it. So who knows which direction the fire was started? But yeah, I think that's like, they ain't calling her and she ain't calling them.
Well, I was just thinking, now, if you know different, let me know. But I think by judging of all the people that have come back, save for like the small characters and stuff like that, of all of our major characters, the only ones that have come back have at least, one more movie in them or some sort of contractual sort of thing. So the people that don't, though, of your major characters, those are the ones that are outsville, your Tonys and Natashas.
Rooker came back. He's got nothing on down the road. You know what I mean?
But look, Rooker's an easy get, though, not for nothing. And I love Rooker, but, Rooker can be had for a song.
Next time I see him, I'm going to tell him what you said.
Listen, he's a... Please don't tell him. I don't. That man's frightens me. I've seen Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer. I don't need that.
We go to the same podiatrist. I'll see him sooner or later.
But I liked this the first episode well enough for what it was, but it certainly was the weakest of all of those. But
I
disagree.
Really? Okay.
I think the zombies was the weakest.
Yeah, man, that is, to me, that is the weakest.
Okay,
one.
see,
it's the most fan service one too, because people, Marvel Zombies is one of those things that like, and there's a lot of it, not just in comics, but in other stuff as well. But I tend to experience it most in comics. It's one of those things that people think they like, but they probably didn't. Does that make sense?
It's more, to me, it feels like 13-year-old boy. This is so awesome, is what it feels like to me.
To me, it kind of, it's a lot like that. To me, it feels like, man, I used to love watching the A-Team when I was, 9. How old were we when the A-Team was out? I don't remember. But now it's really hard to make it through an episode. And I think Marvel Zombies has some of that. And people are like, ooh, they need to do something with Marvel Zombies. And this was a relatively inexpensive way to just do it and get it over with.
And tell people to shut up. I kind of like...
And it's also not a what if. I mean, it's not a what if at all. It doesn't fit the what if scenario at all.
But what if it was this? I mean, I guess...
What if zombies?
What if zombies? It's there, I guess. Here's the thing, though. I don't even have that... There's a mega love of just the genre of zombie in general that perplexes me. Like the best zombies, the best zombie stuff though are zombie stories that have to do with the human element. The human element is what makes those stories good.
I got it's not the zombies, Adam.
Yeah.
Every kind of monster supernatural story, what makes it good is that humanity's the real enemy. I mean, that's the core of
Get out of here.
Like that. Yeah.
Right. I mean, but that's
Are you trying to tell me there's something else to Frankenstein?
No.
Exactly. The person who says Frankenstein's the doctor, not the monster, I say the doctor is the monster, and then they don't understand and they quit talking to me.
And then their head explodes like scanners.
But anyway, back to zombies. It's one of those things, man. It makes great posters. There's great images.
They look
There's
cool.
Great art.
I love the
They're great
iconography
action
of it.
figures, but the story is, I mean, it's on par with like G.I. Joe making a story to sell toys. It's just not a great story. I mean, they just put it out there to kind of capitalize on it, compared to The Walking Dead, which is one of the greatest comics ever made. I mean, people love that comic, and I do too. And it's the comic's reputation is deserved. If you haven't read the comic and you don't like the show, don't think it's the same thing. I mean, the comic is worth reading.
Yeah, I mean, like I only think I read like the first like 6 issues, and like even then you're like, well, that's way different than what the show is. So it's
I've got like 120 issues of it, so it's a good comic.
Why just 120?
I buy the compendiums and they have 40, so I've got 3 compendiums.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got digital after that, and I've got a few single issues, but I've got 120 that I could tell you where they're at. And then I've got a bunch that maybe I've gotten rid of, scattered around on Comixology.
Get one of the big bad boys you got to open up with a crowbar. Those real fat books.
Yeah.
But yeah, zombie stuff's fine to me, but like, I just not much of a fan. Now, we know Sean is probably the least favorite of the Doctor Strange movie fans of the three of us and everything. What'd you think of the Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands episode?
This one took me completely by surprise because I thought that this would be the weakest one because I'm just not a Doctor Strange fan. But I love this episode. I love that he's got to fight himself like Superman 3 in the junkyard. I like all of that stuff. And like, I think it's really fun and it's really interesting to see how far this dude is willing to go to change his situation, kind of like Hal in Green Lantern.
And I really feel like this was an episode to test the waters and maybe soften us up a little bit for Multiverse of Madness. Like, I think we may see an evil Doctor Strange in the MCU, like in that movie.
Yeah, I really think this whole series, I mean, and this episode is surely indicative of the most, is that is just an offshoot of all of this other stuff. It's as in canon as anything else. It's still, the what if kind of world of it, but all of it still, like you said, with the tentacle stuff going over from television shows to movies to this animated show, we are bringing all of this in, and I really think that this is certainly their way of just making it all one cohesive ball to some degree or another, or at least multiverse enough that we can jump around in, I guess.
And I think I read an article that was called What If the What If stories actually had endings? Because, these are all, for the most part, open-ended. I won't say they're all open-ended. And there's kind of this idea, like, are they setting this up? If this is a big hit, then season 2 is going to be picking up on all of these stories where the chapter go, and then season 3 could be picking up on that.
That's a very interesting idea.
That is a very cool idea.
Yeah, I kind of like a weird, like, seasonally anthology series.
Man, that is a very, very high tightrope to walk.
Well,
and I don't want to make the bold statement of saying every episode ends with kind of an equivocal or open ending, but at the end of What If Marvel lost its mightiest heroes and then Loki's king of the world. I don't quite remember if there was the same open ending on Doctor Strange, but Zombies absolutely ends on a cliffhanger, basically.
Yeah.
And, we've got, if we go back to those first two, we definitely know that the T'Challa one ended with Kurt Russell showing up at Dairy Queen to get Peter Quinn.
Right.
Peter Quill.
That makes you feel like that's got to go somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. They all kind of have like an ending. And once again, I don't want to say all, because I might be missing one or two, but many of them have an ending where it looks like it's like the second act kind of ending, and we need that redemption story to come after it, or the save the day story to come after it.
Well, also with all of these things, because it is very Twilight Zone-y. I mean, the end of each of these episodes has to have that twister, like that kind of thing at the end.
Yeah, but it also feels like it goes one beyond that twister. I mean, especially like the Zombies one really pops into my head. Also the Star-Lord one, man, that one is just like a backdoor pilot. Like, we're ready now for what if Peter Quill had never become Star-Lord and Ego gets him, and what does Ego do to him?
I mean, even the Killmonger one is that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about the Killmonger episode. First and foremost, we got a new Stark voice. And I'm in the middle of it. Like, I kind of like it, and I kind of hate it.
I mean, you can't get Robert Downey Jr. He's as good as anybody else you're going to get.
You get a guy who does a great Jack Black doing a great Robert Downey Jr.
That is exactly what I was going to say. And because of that, I was like, why don't you just get Jack Black?
Do we know they didn't? Like, maybe he's using a pseudonym here. This is his Alan Smithy work.
Hey there, buddy. We got to... It's just terrible. I'd love to see it, but it sounded, there were so many very Jack Black-esque sort of moments that I love it.
He does sound exactly like Jack Black, though. Like it's shocking.
What's the name of the guy that does the voice of Fry on Futurama? Billy West?
Yeah, Billy West.
Is he still alive?
Yeah.
Just get him to do every voice. That guy's got range when it comes to voices. He does a great Larry from the Three Stooges.
To me, Billy West does do a great Larry from the Three Stooges. I mean, it's Stimpy or Ren or whichever one it is. But I like Billy West. I like Billy West a lot. But when Billy West is out of his element, he sounds like Billy West to me. You know, like there's times where Billy West just sounds like Billy West.
I'm just picturing, you know, Iron Man, Tony Stark sounding like Larry Fine. Like I want more Larry Fine in the MCU.
Hey, listen.
Hey, Thanos, I peed on my shoe.
Oh, this is wrong.
It's like, that's kind of a gift and a curse. Like you do the best Larry Fine around, but if you had to pick a stooge to do, he's probably the one that gets the least paying gigs as a solo act.
I got to say, Larry Fine, man, I can't believe we're going here. Larry Fine is like one of the world's greatest straight mans ever. He's so good.
No lie, I'm not making this up. He was a highly, highly respected concert violinist. So he had some skills.
Well, you know, as I said one time on a Patreon, I guess I don't even know. As I said one time, like all of those vaudevillian comedians, like, you know, we were raised in a trailer with no roof. And we worked in the coal mine till we were 12, and then I escaped and I joined vaudeville.
Playing the violin was the only way to keep both my mother and father from beating me to death. So that's why I got so good at it.
There was a great Larry Fine joke on Seinfeld. It's like this woman got a hair she's bald. Well, maybe she got a bad haircut. No one walks into a barber and says, "I'll have the Larry Fine." But okay, so while the Jack Black sound alike was fine, I really think that we might have had our best performance in Killmonger out of all of the actors that we've had come back, just from a voice perspective.
Oh yeah, not even close, man.
I don't know, man.
Michael B. Jordan really I think he's giving the best vocal performance.
If we're just talking about these 4 episodes, I'll give it to you. But I'm so sentimental with Chad Boseman that I genuinely feel like that one was pretty.
Well, it's tough to really kind of qualify that one with the baggage that kind of comes along with it. But
right.
and it is a voice that he was doing, and this is more of who Michael B. Jordan's actual voice is, I guess. And
I don't want to sell Lake Bell short. She's a tried and true voice actress.
Yeah, and it's another one. It's so funny because, like, okay, the Scarlet Witch character in that particular episode does not look like Scarlett Johansson at all. Does look like Scarlett Johansson in the later ones, which is funny. And doesn't she doesn't sound really much of anything like her, I guess. But then you've got Mark Ruffalo doing Banner, and that looks zero things like Mark Ruffalo. It's like, what is going on?
He would do it. They probably didn't think he would do it.
I guess.
But he's awesome though, man. I think it looked more like Mark Ruffalo than that guy that showed up at the end of Shang-Chi with his arm in a sling.
I mean, I guess it's no, not that bad. Like it's worse than that. It's worse than the sling arm guy, which we still don't quite understand that. And I guess at least with this we can go, oh, it's a parallel universe, so it's not, we can understand him not going all the way. But I don't know. Like, it's funny because when he turns into Hulk, he looks like Ruffalo. So what's that mean?
I just picture there was like this meeting where, a show like this is going to have, what do you think, 100 animators working on it?
I don't know how animation works anymore.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Well, let's just say there's more than one animator.
I'm gonna bet there's more than one, just based on the credits that I saw.
So let's say
more than one, but less than 1 million.
There's 12 guys in a room, and they give the Ruffalo assignment to the one guy who shows up saying, "I'm prepared to do anybody but Ruffalo." And he's like, "Oh, why did I get Ruffalo?
You've been assigned Mark Ruffalo.
I can do a perfect Scarlet. Why did they give me Ruffalo?"
He looks like, I don't know. He looked like an Aqua Teen Hunger Force character. That's just what he looked like to me. I don't know why, but it was really bizarre. But for me, it's just like, oh, we kind of keep the Hulk under the ticking time clock and everything. I guess like that's back now. I thought we were gonna lean more. I mean, again, multiverse and all that jazz, but I was really hoping we'd lean more towards an area of kind of the smart hybrid Hulk kind of thing.
Since these are what if stories, I would like the idea of letting the auteur decide how they want to depict the Hulk or any of the other characters. Like, I understand you got to work within a certain framework for these, but I do like the idea that you can have a little more freedom with these. So if the creator says the Hulk I need to tell the best story is a Hulk who works like this, then don't hold him back.
Little thing that I saw on the internet, writer of the first Doctor Strange movie, C. Robert Cargill, quite enjoyed this Doctor Strange episode. He's one of those people that when he sees other people, do something with work that he kind of started with, he is overjoyed by it, as opposed to so many other people who would just be like, no, they're taking my stuff and ruining it. No, he's all about it, and he enjoyed this quite a bit too. Which to me, this is what really got me excited for the Doctor Strange movie coming up, because I think probably of the three of us, I'm probably the most hype on that one, and I feel like. I certainly hope that they don't use this as too much of a. I'm trying to keep it family friendly. They don't need to do everything earlier than the movie that they're going to be putting out. Let's put it that way.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. I don't have a good way to say that.
I got you.
I think we know what we're saying here, but I hope that they don't.
I believe
straighten
the
these
old,
things out.
Discharge their ammunition before they get to their target.
I believe the oldest phrase is they're putting the cart before the horse.
Cart before the horse, indeed. Because I don't know, if you go to see Multiverse of Madness and it looks or feels like this, are you excited or are you miffed because we've kind of already got that?
I think that they're working under the model that if you're the kind of person who's watching What If, you're going to like it. And if you're the kind of person who's not going to like it, you're probably not watching What If. You're probably just going to the movies. Are you following me there?
Yeah.
So it's like they're able to serve different levels of fandom this way.
I also liked how in the Doctor Strange it was another take on Groundhog Day. Of course, we saw the Dormammu stuff in the movie and everything, but this was just stuck in that hell of the same day happening over and over. It's a little bit of Final Destination in there as well. It's called It's Always Coming After You. So it's like, oh, we'll take another street. We'll go another way. And no, the outcome's always going to be the same. And it's the outcome that needs to happen in order to, go further.
And it did have the real, like the moral story that I feel like I've seen before, where in order to save the love of his life, he has to turn himself into a monster she could never love. So you get that whole like bitter end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that episode really, it's the biggest surprise of the season for me so far, because I was really dismissive of it until I saw the thing, and seeing how, the performance is great. I love the story. I like I like the outcome. Like all of that stuff is very cool. And you guys know I'm not in I don't like magic. I don't like dragons. Like it's all stupid to me. But this was just a really fun watch because it's like magic. It isn't about magic. It's about people in the end,
And it did surprise me. I had low expectations for that one too. Like when I saw the titles for most of these, other than the Peggy Carter one, I wasn't real interested in any of them. They just weren't what I pictured. Like I was picturing branching origin stories, basically, like what we got in that first episode. And, kind of thinking back to what I remembered from some What If comics over the years. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't very interested really in the titles of any of these past the first one. So the ones that I did like were all pretty much pleasant surprises. But I definitely did find that Doctor Strange to be better than expected.
And what about to get back to Killmonger here? Like, I gotta say, I think this is my favorite one that we've seen so far.
Oh wow!
I really enjoy it. I just really like Michael B. Jordan. I've liked him since The Wire. There's something so magnetic about that man that you just want to watch him work. And so at least I do. And so there's something inherently great about having Killmonger have a much more substantial role in the Marvel universe, to the point where, to get back to your point, Bruce, I wonder if they're trying to soften us up because Killmonger will be a major storyline in Black Panther 2.
I feel like he's got to, because first of all, I don't think anyone's going to argue. You got a superstar actor.
Yeah.
And he just and you lost another, a star who was just on the cusp of becoming, one of the biggest things, in many years, get cut short. So I feel like he's a very, I don't want to say obvious choice, but one that feels like it wouldn't be shocking if they made it.
He also, keeps alive a strong tradition of Johnny Storm being better received as a different character later on.
But yeah, no.
Are you guys in agreement with what I think is the popular consensus that the zombies episode is the most disappointing so far?
I tell you what, from what I hear, I people love the zombie episode. There is something about just the current brain of the person, the people, the nerds on planet Earth that just go zombie. Ooh, zombie good. They're zombies for zombies, I tell you.
Because the people I've interacted with, it's been very different from that.
I would imagine that it's about age. That if you're talking to younger people, younger nerds probably love the zombie thing.
Yeah.
But older people are probably more like, take it or leave it.
It was, listen, I of the zombie stuff, I did enjoy, giant wasp becoming a zombie, which like you knew was coming, but was still still kind of satisfying. It's just like, oh, she stayed big. They're gonna have a big giant zombie, and they do, and it's kind of great, even though it's kind of coming. But then again, that's a lot of horror movies and stuff, so I don't care about that.
I like Scott Lang's head in a jar, like Futurama style. That was fun.
Yes. And really, of these episodes and stuff as well, Doctor Strange's cape playing big roles in all of them in one way, shape, or form,
More screen time for that cape.
That cape's got a good agent.
They're trying to soften us up for getting rid of Benedict Cumberbatch, and the cape is the star
the
of the
cape
future
is
movies.
just the star. It becomes the
Take that, Spawn.
Todd McFarlane's sitting over there in Canada going, that's not funny, man. Come on, we're trying to make this film over here. I got Jamie Foxx. I've given him, $28, and he said yes, that he's going to do it, and he's super excited for a movie that claims we're not going to even have Spawn in it that much.
We both know that McFarlane has way more than $28 if he wants to bankroll it himself.
Yeah, but some reason he doesn't want to pull the trigger on that, and it doesn't really. When you got Jeremy Renner as Twitch. I mean, Twitch for Jeremy Renner? Twitch? What's wrong with you? I'm sorry, I'm getting off on this weird Spawn movie rant.
For a minute, I thought you were talking about Stitch. I was thinking of live action Lilo and Stitch.
Jeremy Renner is Stitch. Or Lilo, either way, or it'd be hilarious to watch. Watching, just give him in that little Hawaiian dress there and everything.
Well, one thing's for certain, Jeremy Renner would think he's doing the best job. Whatever it is he's doing the best job.
I like the Thor kind of reenactment and everything, that new realization kind of thing where it's just that slightly different than what we had seen previously. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be precise and everything, but it's close enough. And at least Clark Gregg is back. I didn't think we'd be able to get Clark Gregg, but God bless him, he showed up for the VA.
I think he's got a divorce to pay for now, so he's got to get to work.
Yes.
Oh no.
Yeah, poor guy. It was like, it was one of those ones that you were just like, oh man, they've been around forever.
Once you get to year 27, you don't expect it to fall apart.
That's why you don't take up Krav Maga in your 50s.
I can't confirm this, but I heard she finally started watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and it was downhill from there.
It's just like, sense. Wait a minute, I've been watching this. This is what you've been doing with your time?
That makes a lot of sense.
I gotta go. Did you used to do plays? Now you're doing this mess? What's wrong with you? But yeah, so overall, you would say that the Killmonger was probably the best one though for you, Sean.
It is. It's my favorite one, and I think it's because it's the one that took me most by surprise. The Doctor Strange one took me by surprise also, but the Killmonger one really did, because I was kind of going to, I was going to split it up where I only have so much time, so blah blah blah, and so I started that episode thinking, I'll pause it and come back to it later, and I just enjoyed it so much. I was just like, my own health be damned, I'm watching the rest of this episode. And it was it was just so enjoyable. And again, I think that Michael B. Jordan, by the way, he isn't credited at all in as being in Black Panther 2, which is probably, a good move that they didn't say anything.
Yeah,
if
I
he is
would.
going to be there.
If he was in there, I would be like, yo, keep that name off that list.
But he just has something about him where a lot of these new characters from Marvel don't have, where you just instantly are like, that's my guy right there. Shang-Chi has it. Shang-Chi's my guy.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone is looking at the new Black Widow as like, oh, hey, she's awesome. Like,
oh man, I think Adam and I are both big fans of Florence.
Well, she's great, but she's not somebody where I'm like, oh man, here we go.
She's no Wong.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Geez.
She's fine. I like her a whole bunch, but like when it comes to these movies, now I like her more in like, don't get me wrong, Wong's not doing Midsummer, but
can you imagine if he did though?
I'd watch
Same
it.
exact role, but Benedict Wong.
Man, perfect.
In a wig.
Sign me up. I will watch it. But no, I had a lot of fun with that, but I can't believe even with Pepper Potts in there, he's still going to give it the number one. I wouldn't have figured, but.
No, I know. I was as surprised as anybody else. Like look at me. I'm liking the Doctor Strange one. I like the one that's got Gwyneth Paltrow in it, even though she's the world's worst human.
Topsy and turvy. Another one that doesn't look a darn thing like her.
Nothing makes me angrier than how much I like the Pepper Potts. Like it makes me actually hate myself sometimes at how much I enjoy Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper Potts because of exactly what you said, Sean.
She's one hell of an actor. I mean, she really is a very good actor. And your eye is drawn to her because she's striking. But my God, what a horrible human being.
Well, you know who's not a horrible human being, Bruce? Maybe one of the best human beings that ever walked the face of planet Earth. Maybe even further than that. Who's to say? My guess is that guy's name's Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, I didn't see where that was going. Well,
Yeah.
Thank you, Adam. I have a prepared statement. Sly, it doesn't take Columbo to figure out that Michael B. Jordan is this week's Stallone connection. Am I right? He was in Creed. You were in Creed. There's your Stallone connection this week. I'm sorry to have wasted your time, sir. I'll let you get back to work. I just have one more question for you. It'll only take a second. Did you know that one of Michael B. Jordan's first roles was as a child actor in the movie Hardball? I'm going to guess that roughly 90% of the people listening haven't seen the movie Hardball because it's about baseball and because it stars Keanu Reeves in a movie about baseball. Now, for those of you who have never seen it, it's a by-the-book, fairly lame sports movie. Keanu is completely miscast. The baseball played in the movie is Hallmark movie of the week level competence, and it's clear that someone at corporate said, Bad News Bears meets Lean on Me, and Keanu Reeves is in it. But the thing about Hardball is you're barely paying attention, and then you hit the final third of that movie. And Mr. Stallone, unless you were born without feelings, it's going to make you cry. And it's shocking because the movie is so vanilla, and then immediately you start crying at this one point. I don't want to say anything else about it, but do not watch this movie, Mr. Stallone. This is the one movie I've ever seen where you ask someone, have you ever seen the movie Hardball? And people either stare at you blankly, wondering why you ever wasted your time watching it, or people get a very surprised look on their face and say, yes. I don't want to spoil a 25-year-old movie for anyone, but if you've never seen the movie, you're never going to see the movie. But I'm going to let someone else ruin it for you. I'm not going to be the one who ruins it. A while back, we spoke about movies we'll never see again, even though they're good on Patreon. And honestly, I should have brought this movie up because this is one of those movies. Oh, I have one more question for you, Mr. Stallone. When you're talking to Michael B. Jordan, do you call him Mike, B, Michael? I've always wondered. I'll hang up and listen. Thank you. Your good internet friend, Sweet Shawnsy from the internet.
For those interested, Hardball is available for free on IMDb TV for whatever that is. However, one accesses that thing.
Do not watch it.
Okay, but come on, Sean. You did say Keanu Reeves, Diane Lane, and John Hawkes.
And look, Diane Lane has like no business being in that movie. Like they must have gotten her like on an off year or something. Like she is way, way too good for this movie. And Hawks is, I mean, he's just great in everything as always.
That man can't really help it. All right, so let's do. We can do. You want to do a Robin ratings?
Let's not do Robin rating. Let's do a rating system. Like this is my favorite, then this one, then this one.
Okay, let's start with Bruce. So we'll put the pressure on him first.
Oh, so just these 4? Or are we doing all 6 now?
Well, might as well do 4, right?
Yeah, let's do these.
Okay,
and then so with the next one we'll do all of them.
Out of these 4, for me, it's going to be Doctor Strange, Killmonger, What If the World Lost Its Mightiest Heroes, and Zombies coming in the 4th place. Doesn't make the podium.
Go.
Oh wow. Okay, I'm gonna echo that precisely, Bruce, because that's pretty. I would give it the 4th place on the podium, but you know, one of those small ones with the meme of the kid who sprays himself with the.
You get gold, silver, bronze, and the 4th place finisher just doesn't get to walk up there, even though he had the 4th best day in the world that day.
Yeah, so close, but no cigar. Sorry. What was it? Zombies off the podium, Sean.
For me, it's Killmonger is 1, Doctor Strange is 2, World Lost Its Mightiest Heroes is 3, and then Zombies is 4.
All right, well. Fairly decent consensus there, but so what? I think there's like 3 more episodes.
Yes.
So 3 more episodes. Whenever those finally drop out, we'll.
So there's a total of 9.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
that's a weird number.
I think initially there was 10, but from what I'm to understand, maybe they pushed one of those to a season 2 for whatever.
One was What If Black Widow was going to get another movie with Scarlett Johansson? I got rid of that one.
It's just it's the opening and then credits. Then you're done. All right, so again, we'll talk about what we're going to be watching next week in just a moment. Until then, Bruce, where can we find more of your work on the internet?
I want people to go check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/C/Bruce Leslie. A whole lot of talk about Attack on Titan, getting into season 3 very, very soon. Watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. And then we've got some Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer there. Go check that out if you're interested. And if you don't want to go to YouTube, then check out the 1987 film Light of Day starring Michael J. Fox and Joan Jett.
Sean, what else?
That's a good use of your time.
Around here it is.
30 Questions is our other podcast. We ask 30 questions to any and all nerdy shows. So check that out if you haven't already. It's a great time.
And we've been asked to do a Wheel of Time episode, and with me, Bruce, and we may actually have a third chair waiting to go and everything. So that may be. When does that come out, Bruce? I don't even know.
November 19th, I think.
All right, so we got a little bit of time. It's not. We put together shows in a lot less time than that. So
oh yeah,
I don't think that'll be too much of a problem. We've done it in 24 hours.
One show together a week after it debuted. So yeah, we've done crazier things.
Yeah, so a week after.
Looking at you, Snow Panther.
Sorry. But yeah, so do check all of that stuff out wherever you find greater podcasts. And of course, patreon.com/HMP pre-show, post-show, Dinger Zone. And remember, you're voting this month. Here are your choices one more time. We've got Lois and Clark, the 90s animated Spider-Man, Rendell Dark Vengeance, Attack on Titan Season 1 episodes 1 through 5, or the Winona Earp pilot. You can vote on those Monday. I think I'm going to shut down voting. We'll call it on Thursday, just so we'll have a little bit of time to watch whatever. That is it, everybody. Join us next week when we're talking our Patreon selection for Sweet Sean's of Kovacs from the internet. Bruce Leslie, I'm Adam Portress. Stay super, everybody.
Bye, Marty and Evie.
Company, always on the run. Destiny is a rising sun. Oh, I was born, 6 gun in my hand, behind took us.